welcome to the Just Zander podcast. I'm your host, Zander Gray, and this is episode 23. Jordan, I just revealed my age there because, 23 is not Jordan anymore. It's LeBron James. Anyway, how's everybody doing? I know it's only been a week, but it feels like it's been forever. It feels like it's been forever since I start talking again on the podcast. So that's kind of weird. Today I want to, the last podcast I was talking about how that sometimes you just don't know the people around you. And to just do a quick recap, well, a friend of mine or ex-friend of mine now was arrested for multiple charges of inappropriate behavior, sexual assault, and also rape. And he was the best man at my wedding, and it was just weird because I thought I knew the guy, and he's always been reserved. He's always been to himself, but I knew him. I knew his family. I knew his wife, his ex-wife now, and his kid, and it's just weird, man, because you never know. I haven't really kept up on what's going on with that. Just saw the news, what happened, and I just kind of moved on from it, talked about it on the last podcast, and I think it's just not worth mentioning anymore after that. But for this one, I wanted to talk about friendships now, the people that you have around you right now. Sometimes you can't control the people that exist in your life, because they say sometimes you can't choose family, you can choose your friends, but sometimes it's not true. Sometimes depending on situation, depending on where you live, where you work, you tend to make friends around your work or whatever. But now it's a little different because of social media. You if you're into anime, if you're into music, if you're into anything, you can find those group of people online, on Facebook or whatever. I have a homie that's a producer. He's on the East Coast and he's killing it right now. I have a handful of musician friends that are from California, from just meeting on tour or just trying to book a show. And you ended up playing shows with them, back when you can play shows. So it is a little different, but anyway, now, again, what I said, depending on your situation, depending on the job that you work or whatever, friends disappear and you slowly get to know them or whatever, and you just realize, you notice, certain people aren't for you, certain people are maybe not a good friend or whatever, but it takes time. It takes time for you to realize that sometimes, sometimes depending on what kind of person you are, it is not your fault if you have shitty friends, I guess I would say. Sometimes, depending if you're a people pleaser or if you're just attract those type of people, the bad ones or whatever, it doesn't define who you are. I think the main thing is, if you can do your best to better yourself each and every day, physically, mentally, spiritually, or whatever, then those people that either want that or is aware of that or want that type of energy will be attracted to you. So this weekend or whatever, and I'll just talk about it, okay? So the past few days, you hang out with like friends or whatever, small group of friends, not a lot, one or two. And because of what's going on, you be as safe as possible. And one of my friends, his wife's sister tested positive, right? And depending on the timeline or whatever, it just sucks because you don't really know. You don't really know sometimes on how, some people say, or some doctors say that you can't transmit it as well, depending on whatever, depending on the days that you're around. Anyway, I don't know a lot of that stuff. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. Okay, full disclaimer. I should have said this in the beginning. I'm not an expert or whatever. This is just my opinion, experiences. We're just having a conversation. If anything, I'm having a conversation with myself and you too, if you're listening and watching. So she tested positive, my friend's wife's sister. Okay, so, but I didn't hear it from him. I heard it from somebody else. So right off the bat, it just got lost in translation, right? It just right off the bat, you're just like, okay, why didn't we know about that? We were there that one time when we were trying to do something for somebody else. We were just all together. But again, it's just frustrating, lost communication, lost in translation. So I texted him. I was like, hey, man, like, somebody else had to tell me. Why didn't you tell me? Like, what's going on here? Like, I just think that's not cool. Not verbatim, but you know what I mean. We had the right to feel upset about it because, like, we should know that type of information. And, we went, to keep the long story short, we went back and forth with the text, and it was just like, he's probably thinking I'm being a dick. I'm probably thinking he's just like, what the hell? Like, why are you being such an asshole about it and whatever? So I decided to call, and it was fine. Like, it just, the way that we talked to each other was lost in translation, lost in communication on your phone, on your text. And we just, like, after that, because I love the guy, I love him, I love his family, I cared about him very dearly, and I don't want to lose him as a friend over something very stupid. Anyway, his wife tested negative. Okay, so we're good. We're good, just so you know. So we just had a good conversation. We apologized to each other, and, we took responsibility for overreacting and whatever on certain things. But, it wasn't like a bad overreaction, but it was fair, and on both ends. So, sorry, I bit my lip and it hurts. I have a long list of injuries this past week. It's pissing me off. Anyway, so we made a vow to each other, like, hey, if it's anything serious, if it's gonna take more than 2 or 3 lines of text, let's just call each other. It'll just be easier that way. And yeah, so we decided to do that. And also, I also helped a friend of mine move, and best friend, we can call each other best friend now. I know he's listening, so you're my bestie. Him and his wife, including with me and my wife. So we're besties. So sorry. And I helped him build, like, stairs for his deck. And I just wasn't expecting anything. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. We don't know what the hell we're doing. We just went in on it hard and got it done. And not to call him out on his personal stuff or whatever, but he was having trouble with, because he used to live in California. He was having trouble with just things going on, personal stuff, and that he wasn't, like, their friends or whatever at the time, and you do this too. You're either flaky or you're like, oh, let's hang out, and then you don't. And I don't see myself as that way. Not trying to toot my own horn or anything. Like, if I were to say that I wanted to do something, I would do it. And I will do my best to not be as flaky as possible. If I'm gonna, I just know in the beginning, whenever I want to do anything with other people, it's just hard because other people have different intentions. Other people have different expectations. I always have a very high expectation of myself. and how I project myself into the things that I do. So I try to be a stand-up guy. I do my best to show up. I do my best to be the person, to be the human being that I want to be, you know, generous, whatever. And again, not trying to put his personal stuff out there. You know, we hung out before. He moved out here from California, and then he hit me up like, "Hey, is there anybody that I can talk to, like a therapist or whatever?" I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, of course. Like, I'll give your number to my wife because my wife's a therapist, and she'll probably have a lot of resources that you can look into." And right off the bat, I felt like a responsibility. I think with anybody, and again, like, I think it's just me as a person. I think before when we the past podcasts or whatever, I talked about always wanting to fix stuff, always wanted to find solution to things or whatever. And oh my god, my nose is itchy from my mustache just tickling my nose. You know, facial hair problems, and I just felt an enormous amount of responsibility to make sure that everything is okay. You know, make sure that he got the help that he needed, and everything else. And it's not like a pity thing or anything. It's just more like, let me just check in. Hey, everything good on your end? Hey, let me know if you need to talk. And I was being real. It wasn't like oh, just, let me know if you need to talk. Like, I was real. Like, just, hey, if you need anything, you have my number, text me, whatever. If you need to have a conversation, if you need to talk, if you need to like go on a walk or whatever, do hit me up. Like, because I think that type of thing is very important. And again, like I said, whenever anybody asks for help with anything, with music, podcasts, whatever, I feel a responsibility to check in and to make sure everything is where it needs to be. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe from my grandma, because she's always been so good at helping other people and to make sure people are happy. And I don't think it's a people pleaser thing. I think it's that responsibility as a human being, to serve others and to care for other people. So anyway, so we became really fast friends after that, and it also helps that we get along too, and we make fun of each other, whatever. And his wife is cool as fuck as well, and we all get along, And so I think the whole podcast today is I want to just talk about how, in the previous one, you should always be aware of the people that you surround yourself with, and be aware of, do the work to get to know your friends, do the work to help your friends, even if they don't reciprocate. I don't think it's not about that. It's about responsibility. It's about serving. And I think it's about, love. And I'm so lucky. I just kind of stepped back and just realized having friends, having the life that we have right now is such a privilege. I don't know the exact numbers or whatever, it's 40 something billion to 1 for you to exist right now. How crazy is that? Like, when your mom and your dad, what I'm talking about, and it's 40 something billion or whatever to 1, or trillion even. I'm not too sure what the exact numbers are, but to 1 that you exist right now, sitting here or in your car, going to work, listening right now. How crazy is that? And having the people around you is a privilege. It's your responsibility to be the best person that you can, and having the right people around you so you can help each other out. I know it's big, it's deep, but we're so lucky, I think, in the past few podcasts that I've done, it's always been oddly serious and I do my best to be insightful. And what's funny was the past, the whole goal was a podcast to be silly and talk about, just silly things and being funny or whatever. But it just, it turns out to be something completely different. Sometimes you can't expect or to have, anyway, I'm rambling on here, but yeah, so we became fast friends and helped him like build stairs and help him move. And I value his friendship. I value their friendship, him and his wife, and the things that they've done for us and the things that we do for them. And again, like I said, it's your responsibility to be the best person that you can be, so you can help inspire, be there for the friends around you, including family. And but I think having those type of friends are also doing their best to be the best that they can be. It just made me realize you can't do a lot of the things that you want to do alone. You have to take the first few steps to get there. You have to take the first few steps to be as best that you can be. And then you attract those people, you attract those friends. And I think right away you just know, like, oh, that person's a piece of shit, or oh, that person is a genuine person. So this whole podcast, it's kind of opposite of the past. I think it's about being appreciative and grateful of the friends that you have right now, and you can't take advantage of that. I think you should, like I said, it's your responsibility to open up, to talk to them about your problems, to help them any way that you can, so you can build that collective, so you can build that relationship with them. And I think that's 100% important. It's so important. And I'm lucky to have the friends that I have around me. The last few, I talked about how I feel like they weren't there for me, but or and again, like, I understand they have their own thing, they have their own responsibilities, but lately I've been lucky with the two that I have right now. And I know that if I were to call and like, hey, can you help me with whatever, that they would show up, and the same for us too, for my wife and I. And I appreciate that so much. And I'm so grateful for that. And it's such a privilege, and so lucky to be able to do that. And I think to get to that position, to get to that spot, I think it's important I don't want to say fix yourself. I think it's to know your flaws, to know what you need to work on, so you can be a better human being, so you can be a better man, better person, for to those around you. I As much as I say I don't care what other people think, as much as I say that that I don't care what people think of me or whatever, I just repeated myself twice. But I think it's different if you're there to inspire, if you're there to lead, if you're there to talk about helping other people. I think that so when you ask like, what's the meaning of life? I think what the question should be is, what is the purpose of your own life? What is your purpose? I think that's more important than what is the meaning of life. In my opinion, the meaning of life is to live it, to be happy, to pursue happiness, and to pursue fulfillment. I think that's the meaning of life, and it's different for everybody. Let's, in a perfect world where evil doesn't exist or whatever, sure. And, it's not that black and white. So I think what is your purpose is to be fulfilled, be happy, and love unconditionally, and be kind, be compassionate. And then imagine if you surround yourself with those type of people that also think about other people, think about serving others, think about wanting to better themselves. What more could you ask for? And then fulfilling your life or career, whatever, would be somewhat easier. Again, like, when you say it like that, it sounds so simple. I know it's not. But to keep the equation simple, then that's what the equation is, right? You're gonna have difference of opinions. You're gonna have difference of character and personalities or whatever. But I think deep down, everybody kind of wants the same thing, in my opinion. I think, everybody wants the same thing. They want happiness. They want fulfillment. And your goal is to find what your purpose is so you can fulfill it to the best of your abilities. But to get to that level is first self-actualization, self-realization. You need to know exactly what you want, exactly what you're about, exactly what your strengths, your flaws, your weaknesses, everything, so you can get to that level. And then once you're at that level, serving others and helping other people, being grateful of the privilege that you have, that will fulfill that circle, the inner circle, the outer circle. And it's just, I know I'm rambling right now, but oh my God, it's you. If you think of it that way, it's so simple. The equation, And I think as long as, like I said, again, 100%, you have to better yourself in every way. Understand your flaws, understand what you need to know for growth. But you have to be uncomfortable. You have to get to a point where, I'm beating my leg right now. You need to get to a point where, why am I not fulfilled, right? Why am I not happy? Why am I not this? Why am I not that? You have to really go in deep and ask yourself, why do I not feel fulfilled? Again, like I said, it takes time to get to that level. It takes time to figure that out, but you have to move towards those steps. You have to move forward. You can't just sit there and like, I'm not happy, I'm not fulfilled. Okay, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. You can't do that. I know in the beginning of the podcast, we're talking about friends and we're talking about responsibility, but I think it correlates to what I'm saying right now. To be able to have those type of friends, to be able to serve your friends and be responsible for your friends and having that privilege and helping them, whatever. But first, you need to love yourself for one. You need to love yourself. You need to better yourself. You need to educate yourself. How can you love others? How can you inspire others? How can you help other people if you're not willing to love yourself, to educate yourself, to better yourself in every way? How are you going to help other people if you can't do that for yourself? I think that's key. And I don't think it's selfish at all. I think everybody needs work. Everybody is flawed. And again, deep down, a lot of people have the same not issues, but have the same goals and wants. Yeah, man, I think this podcast is just about me being really grateful, man. I'm really grateful for where I'm at right now. I'm really grateful for the people that I have around me. But it takes work. And the work comes from within, the work comes from realizing what you need to do for yourself and understanding your flaws. Like, again, my flaw is that I'm a fixer and I tend to go too hard on things, and I'm just this big ball of energy, and I don't listen. I need to start listening. I need to start believing in myself, and I need to start not always wanting to fix other people's problems, but is to just be there for them, to listen, to really understand what they need. And it takes a lot of work. I struggle with that. I struggle with people doing the wrong things and annoying the crap out of me, and not everybody is a leader either. And I'm not saying that I'm a leader, but I have leader qualities, and I don't know where it comes from. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where I got it from. But I know I have to work at it. I know I have to work at it to get better. I need to educate myself and be aware of what I'm doing to lead better, because other people have different ways of learning and different ways of getting inspired or whatever, and hammering their head with a hammer just to nail it in, sometimes is not the right way. And that's my flaw. On top of everything else, I have a lot of flaws. I have flaws of self-doubt or whatever, but I'm slowly getting to a place where I feel confident in the abilities that I have. I feel confident in who I am, knowing who I am, knowing what I'm capable of, and extending it and pushing the limits that I have to get better. But that takes being unfucking comfortable. It takes a lot. But again, to come back to everything, it is your responsibility to know your friends, to know your family, to really understand what they're about, help them as much as you can. But you also need to think about yourself and getting better at the things that you want to do as well. Bottom line is the pursuit of happiness and fulfillment. And I'm still learning as I go too. Anyway, I wanna end it at that. Usually I end it with what am I grateful for, but I already said it. So I released a couple of new singles on time and enough. They're on Spotify, they're on Apple Music, they're everywhere, and the numbers are looking pretty good. So thanks for everybody that took the time to check it out, took the time to listen, took the time to DM me about it or talk to me about it. I really, really appreciate that with all my heart. And I'm releasing another one coming out. It's going to be called Levitate, September 8th. And then another one after that, and another one after that. And I'm keep writing. Anyway, you can find me at Just Zander on Instagram and at Just Zander Gray on everything else. I appreciate you all for taking the time to listen to me. Again, I'm still holding on to the news that I have for the next few weeks probably, and I'll announce it as soon as I can. But other than that, be safe, take care of yourself, take time to understand what you need for yourself, for your health, and peace.